You're listening to the NAMAD Sessions by Mia, live from the NAMAD Annual Membership Meeting 2025. We're here at another NAMAD session by Mia with Lauren Moriarty, Director of Sales at iPacket.
Yeah,
thanks
very
for giving
nice
me some
to be
time
here.
today.
Of course.
All right, so let's talk about a few things. Number one, I'm going to knock that over, but why do people care about all this information that's online, in the cars, in the sales packet, all the details in an era when people seem to be caring most about price?
I think it comes down to the purchase itself, right? A car is going to be the second largest purchase for most people, next to their home.
Of course.
So they want to feel good about it. They want to feel confident about it, and having more information does that. It makes them feel the most educated. It makes them feel like, look, I'm excited about this purchase. And then I'm excited so much that I go and tell my friends about it. So I think that information offers, some security, and it builds trust with the customer himself.
There's so much conversation right now going on about who's actually looking at the website. What information are people looking at? Are they using ChatGPT? Are they using Google? Does the VDP matter? How much needs to be on the VDP? This is really an era where I think a lot of industry partners and a lot of dealers are trying to decide what is the most important thing to be on the site. And so what do you think people, when they show up, humans are still looking at VDPs. Humans are still showing it. No, they are, for sure. What do they want? What are the most important things? We know that price is important, but what are the next things that they always want to know when they show up on a VDP?
I think it comes down to the details of the vehicle. Does this have the leather seats I'm looking for? Does this have the features of, from a technology front that I'm looking for? Things that, not only check the boxes of what they're in search of, but also then documents like the service receipts. Things that show more of this specific value of the vehicle that they're looking at compared to the next one, as well as compared to, the other dealers they're looking at too. To your point, there's a lot of people going to the different websites, and you want to have information that does move them forward in the buying cycle.
I mean, there's so much conversation about transparent selling.
Yeah.
Give me your take on that. What is transparent selling?
I mean, I think it's such a unique thing right now. It's something that has been absent from the car industry to a certain extent over the years. And when you give that to your customer, it changes their perspective of the experience as a whole. They are then, their eyes are open to, look, I don't have to feel like somebody's working me over when I'm buying a car, no matter who I'm talking to. I can feel good about the decision. And that's because somebody's being transparent with them and giving them, the information that provides that feeling.
So what are the types of things? You said the information. What are the things that put people on their heels when they feel like they're not getting it?
I think really, getting not only the value points of the vehicle, things like the reconditioning receipts. Did they do tires? Did they do brakes? What kind of warranty does this car have? Does it have, again, features of the actual technology or, physical vehicle itself? But then also, hey, why do I want to buy from this dealership? They're telling me reasons to buy from them, and I'm not hearing that from other people. So when you get that information, I think that transparency ultimately affects the decision-making process.
You brought up the reconditioning items, and what percentage of dealers do you think disclose the reconditioning items they've done?
Well, if they're an iPacket dealer, everybody
at
iPacket, right?
Yes, of course.
I would probably say, I don't know, maybe like less than 10% by default.
Really, that low?
I don't think it's something that every dealer is comfortable doing so, because it's just not what they've been doing. But I think...
What are they uncomfortable with?
I think they're worried that there might be something that makes the customer question.
The vehicle needed something, so it must be a bad vehicle, like that kind of thinking?
Yeah, but I think what we find is really when that's turned around in a way that it feels educational for the customer. Look, it did need tires, but now it has brand new tires.
Right. Brakes.
And that perspective is shifted in a way that we want to tell them so that they are understanding of their purchase, and then they're happy with it, right? They don't feel like you hit anything. Right. They didn't find out later that it needed tires. They now know, hey, look, I've got a vehicle in great condition, and disclosing that, is a requirement to have.
I've always felt that way when, like, for instance, if the dealer has a tool, iPacket, where it says, oh, this car has new tires. Even though with so much price competition going on, it does feel like that now becomes kind of a conversation point with a competitive dealer. or a conversation point with another vehicle that's in their consideration matrix where they're like, oh, well, this one has new tires. And so I honestly never understood why dealers wouldn't want to talk about that. And maybe it's as simple as like not having a simple way to do it.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
And to know that that's kind of a plug and play option.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, it's another task they have to do. They have to go get it, right? Not only do they have to go get the service receipts to show them,
aggregating
they
all the
actually
data.
have to feel confident that they can read it, right? So when it's put in a way that's user friendly, I think that really shows the nuts and bolts. Look, this is what we do to our vehicle. That is when it really makes a difference in the decision making process.
Tell me, how did you get into the car business?
I got into the car business in the marketing side of things.
Okay, this tracks.
Yeah. Actually, iPacket was started by a dealer group, and I actually worked in the marketing department.
I did not know that.
You did not?
No.
Yeah, that's like one of the coolest things about iPacket.
What was the dealer
I
group?
think. Astorg Auto in Parkersburg, West Virginia. So,
okay.
Yeah, I was doing their marketing. I think that's honestly one of the coolest parts about iPacket's story is that it was created by a dealer for a dealer, and when we talk to dealers, it bleeds through. They're like, oh, well, this just makes sense. Well, that's why,
Oh my gosh, I feel like you're missing an opportunity there.
What?
Like the fact that some people don't know that.
Yeah, they don't
I didn't know
that.
that.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And so you were marketing at the dealership.
At the dealership.
And so you've been along for the entire ride.
Yep, and the iPacket was kind of starting out, and I came on board. I was using iPacket at that dealership and saw kind of what it did for my customers there and thought, look, this is going to be big, right? This is going to be something everybody loves. Because, again, it's such a no-brainer.
And so give me a little understanding of your reach across the country.
Yep. Right now we're in one of every 6 dealers. From
Wait, one of every 6 new car dealerships has iPacket.
Yeah,
That's strong.
Everything from the small guys to the big guys. It's something that really just works across the board for everybody, and it's foundational in the approach that we have. And I think we have a 96% lifetime retention rate, which I think is just outstanding when you even think about that. With the reach that we do have, and that should
shows
speak
that
to it.
dealers are very value minded these days. So like they're very quick to cut, and maybe we see it almost a little too much. Is that dealers are quick to cut something after 30 days or 60 days without giving it a chance to settle in. But the fact that you're 96% says a lot that you've been able to prove the value of what you're doing, and dealers are seeing the result of it. On the sales side, but also I think like whenever you can give a dealer a tool to help them streamline and implement process within their store, I think it's like a secondary win that isn't the most obvious one.
Absolutely.
But I think operationally minded dealers understand when they're using a tool that keeps their people accountable.
100%. The standardization is something that's often missing. Right, they're kind of hoping and wishing that their team's doing what they're asking them to do, but this allows you to really have that security, have that accountability, just across the board.
Talk about the standardization. So, what is the requirement, or like the standardization that gets built into a dealer system because they're using iPacket?
I think it's the presentation of the value points. A digital presentation like iPacket.
So sales standardization.
Yep, sales standardization. So you're going to standardize what you're showing a customer, how you're showing it to them, what that follow-up process looks like, and making sure that nothing is missed along the way because you have a platform to do so like iPacket.
Man, I love like the startup story.
Yeah,
I love the value.
right.
I love the retention rate story for sure. Thank you so much for giving us a few
Thank
minutes
you.
and just being so like passionate and bright about the industry.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Paul.
Thank you for listening to this NAMAD session brought to you by Mia. At More Than Cars, we're obsessed with uniting people around one big idea, that thriving people are the only path to a thriving and profitable industry. And if that resonates with you, head over to morethancars.com to join our email list and check out our full list of podcasts and programming.